Okay, today we're going to be doing a Wilwood rear brake kit on the Honda CRZ. I've already done the fronts here, so I've got a pretty good idea of how it's supposed to go. Never done a full brake kit, so the front had some instructions online, some videos, so it was fairly easy to figure out. Also pressed in some ARP studs. We're doing the K20Z3 swap on this thing. When it comes to the rear, there are no instructions online. The instructions for both the kits, the written and typed out instructions comes with, they're not very good. It does say that this, from Wilwood, that this kit is 2006 Honda Civic up to the present year. Most of the websites online, actually I think Wilwood is the only site I found that didn't actually list the Honda CRZ working with this kit. So most of them all say that it's for the Civic and the CRZ. I bought mine from Vivid Racing. So the caliper that I'm going to be using is actually the driver's side caliper. It says that it's the left side. And I'm going to be using on the right side of the car. The reason why is because it puts the mounting bracket for the e-brake cable on the bottom pointing down towards the ground, compared to if I were to use the right side caliper, then it would put the bracket pointing up into the wheel well. And on the CRZ, the cable is actually underneath the chassis here. So I'm assuming that on the Civic, it's up on the top here. And that's why they have the caliper or the bracket pointing up so that you can put your emergency cable in. But like I was saying earlier, the CRZ, it's on the bottom. So I switched sides. Normally you can't do that, but with like on the front, there's I think four or six piston calipers, and you can't switch sides with those type of calipers. But this caliper in the rear is just a one piston caliper, so it should be okay. Like I said, the only difference I think is the bracket positioning. I pressed in ARP studs into the hub. That was kind of an ordeal too. I had to buy some, send them back, buy some. These are the correct ones for this CRZ. They're not labeled online for it, so you have to buy the Honda Prelude and Accord, the 96, up to the 96, part number right there. They come in packs of 4, so I had to buy 5 packs because my hubs are for 5 studs. And I pressed them in myself with the shop press, so I know you can, there's other ways of doing it online, but I had to shop press. On the caliper, you also have to drill out the hole for the emergency brake cable, because the part that goes through the caliper, this metal part right here, and then the clip holds it in place on the back side, is where the diameter was too thick than the stock hole. And I know Wilwood, I think, sells the cable line to put through here, but if you want to use a stock one, I've seen on another video, you have to drill it out right here with this tool right here. You can get it from Harbor Freight. Comes with 2 sizes. It's pretty cheap. They're kind of expensive from Home Depot or Lowe's, so I've always gotten mine from Harbor Freight tools. What you end up, I'm going to be using this bracket right here. There's the part number 11805 on the passenger side. The driver's side, I believe, was 11806. And you want the thicker side of the bracket hole for the bolt to be up top, and then the thinner thickness down here to be for the bottom. And it mounts to the back side of the bracket for the caliper, for the stock caliper on the car here. The problem is that the back side back here had a couple step ups that make it to where it's not sitting correctly level with the back side of this. So what you end up having to do, and here's a picture of the back side of that. This is the surface area that your shims are going to sit on, your 2 washers. You're going to use 2 of the thicker washers, not any of the half-size thinner ones. You want 2 of the thicker ones, 2 up top, 2 up on the bottom. And you're going to, so what you see here is a step up here and a step up here as well. And after the first step up, this is kind of the shape of your bracket. What you have to do is get a grinder. You have to get a grinder and you have to grind this down back here. And then you actually have to grind down the first step up as well, about 1 millimeter or 2, the thickness of about a washer. 3 washers pushes your bracket high enough, but you only want to use 2 washers to make sure that your caliper is center. 3 washers pushes the caliper off center on the rotor, and you get too much rub on your, too much drag. So what you have to do is you have to get this tool right here, and it is my grinding tool, and then this grinding wheel from Home Depot. I got the rounded one, the 40 grit, and I'm gonna grind down the back side of that. I've already done that, and you can see right here, I ground this all down. You can't see the second step up lip. It's all ground down. So one side. You don't want to hit this area. This area on this picture is the area that is going to keep. You don't want to change this angle by hitting it or nicking it too hard. And little nick isn't going to be a big deal, but you want your washer to stay flush on that angle, because if you change the angle of this at all, your washer will be angled, which then will push your caliper angled, and it's not gonna work. You're gonna have a, off center caliper rubbing. So you're gonna use, like I said, 2 washers in between here, 2 of the thicker thickness washers on the top and the bottom, and you're also gonna use 2 right here. I had my eye off the camera. So anyways, the 2 right here, and then 2 on the bottom, and you're going to use 2 of the thicker washers in between the bracket and your caliper too. So 2 of the thickers on all 4 bolts. When you come around to the other side, before you do it on your stock, before you take it apart, grab your stock rotor and fill it, and you'll feel that there's some drag. There's some drag in here too. If I had both hands, I could center the rotor up a lot better, and it's less drag, but there's still some drag in there. I read online that that's kind of a common thing with Wilwoods. I didn't have the problem with the front. I know that I'm shimmed out correctly and centered there. So what I'm hoping is that when the brake pads bed in, going for a drive, that it will not be as bad as drag on there. But pretty similar to what the stock was on there. So that's what it looks like all put together. I haven't done the steel braided brake lines yet on the back, on the rear. So I think that's everything. Like I said earlier, I wish I would have had this video when I was doing it. Couldn't find anything, so I thought I'd put one out there. Should make your time a lot easier. And you should be able to figure out the rest of it all from here. Yeah, have a good one.